So, 293 is 6 weeks away. We don't have a main event. And now, Jack Della Maddalena doesn't even have an opponent. Sean Brady says he's not going to go anywhere near Australia and he's not going outside the country unless there's a lot of money or a big fight involved. And that's in 6 weeks. And that he just got back from his honeymoon, so that's out of the question. So, now, who is Jack Della Maddalena going to fight at 293? We don't have a main event, like I've said before, and one of the biggest fighters, the biggest Aussie fighter you can available for the card, doesn't even have an opponent. 293 is going to be a fucking disaster. Like, I had a feeling this card was going to end up being shit, and now, I mean, it's pretty much all but confirmed. I'd imagine the best opponent, the highest ranked opponent Jack Della Maddalena can get for this card is maybe Neil Magny. But even then, that's not like guaranteed that he'll get the Magny fight. So with that being the case, I've heard that he wants Kevin Holland. If Holland gets out of the Chiesa fight, obviously uninjured, but even that's a big if. So pretty much, Della's almost certainly going to have to fight some unranked guy more than likely. Because Michelle Pereira is fighting this weekend. Ian Gary's fighting Jeff Neal. Chiesa won't turn around that quickly if he beats Kevin Holland. So Neil Magny is the only fighter pretty much available for Jack Della Maddalena in that time period. And who even knows if Neil Magny will take the fight. So Jack Della Maddalena is going to have to fight another unranked guy while being 5-0. But I don't know. This card is going to be a disaster, man. Like, I knew... I don't know. I knew pretty early on this card wasn't going to be good. But I didn't think it would be this much of a shit show. You'd think they would have had a main event by now. Why are they not letting Strickland fight? Like, why are they not letting Strickland fight Izzy? Like, fucking get that shit sorted out, UFC. Like, luckily I didn't go and buy tickets for this card. Because it would have cost me so much, like getting plane tickets and everything to go to Sydney and everything as well. And I would have been fucking pissed off seeing what the card is. Like, the cards, like 284 was an amazing card, but 293 is like, I don't know, doesn't feel like a main event. Like, Kai Kara France vs Manel Kape, good fight. Taito Ivasa vs Alexander Volkov, good fight. But they're the only two fights that are on the main card so far. There's some fun fights, but like, you got Blood Diamond versus Charlie Radke. I don't know how to pronounce that. Like, I don't know, this card's just like not the most stacked. And now Jack Della Maddalena's like not even got an opponent. Like, I'm sure he'll get someone because he'll take a fight against anybody, whoever they send him. But you'd think he would at least get like a big opponent, but Magny is his like only hope, and I don't know what's happening with Neil Magny. Let's go have a look. What's Neil Magny up to? I don't know. I got no clue, so I don't know, it doesn't look like Magny has a fight booked or anything, so I guess Neil Magny is the best shot. Like, I don't know. This card, the UFC have really just fucked this card over so badly. It's like they just really want to fuck the Australian fans over for some reason. Like, they book Whittaker, Volkanovski. They book Whittaker versus Dricus 7-8 weeks before this card, and then expect them to turn around and fight Izzy, which, Who the fuck's going to do that? Realistically, who's going to do something that stupid? You're getting a title fight. You wouldn't want to rush right into it. You'd want to be 100%. In Dricus' case, like, especially, like, he went in with a foot injury. So he wasn't never going to be able to turn around that quickly. And then they put Volk on the card 8 weeks before this card. So obviously he can't fight because he's also getting surgery and everything. So that's like fucked as well. You had Jimmy Crude on the prelims of 290, and he's definitely not going to be fighting at 293. So like, I don't know, they've really just like screwed the Australian fans over here, and then they've booked so many Aussies before the event, so they're not going to be able to make the card either. So I don't know, this card's just like one big fuck around. Like, I don't know, it doesn't feel big. It doesn't feel like a pay-per-view. And it's honestly feeling like a fight night, which is, upsetting. They might have to go with a fight night if they can't get like a main event either. Like, you can't make this a pay-per-view if you don't get a title fight. So the UFC need to pay Strickland. Don't do Jared Cannonier versus Izzy too, because if they do, then that's just worse than turning it into a fight night. Because nobody wants to see Adesanya versus Cannonier too. Like, trust me, no one wants to see that at all. Like, don't fuck the Australian fan base over even more than they've already been fucked over with this shit show of a card. Like, the main card of this fucking event is gonna look horrible, I imagine. They really need to start, like, fixing some matchups up, like, soon. Like, there's not even, like, a shit ton of, like, space on the card either. Like, at most, they could add 5 fights, but I can't imagine they're gonna do that. Yeah, there's 10 fights now. Like, I can't imagine they're going to add, like, another whole 5 fights. We'll definitely get a JDM fight. Not sure who against. So that's 11. I think Brad Riddell's going to be on this card making his return, so that's 12. 13 is probably an Izzy fight. So that's 13. And then I don't know what they'll do for the other 2. Maybe they could put some guys from Extreme Couture on the card, because if Strickland does end up fighting, so maybe they could do that for some international fights. But I don't know. The UFC have really just fucked 293 up. But I'm sure it'll end up being a fun card. But like, fuck, they could have done a lot better than what they've done. But I don't know. And yeah, hopefully JDM gets an opponent, like a good opponent. But maybe he'll actually have to fight Joaquin Buckley, who, in my opinion, doesn't deserve a ranked fighter at welterweight. But yeah, when there's nobody else available, I guess you got to make do with what you can. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for listening.